Couch, everyone. Pasta Jardula here.
And I'm Fiorella. You are so extra.
And Jonny Zoo is on those ones and twos. And the reason why I'm extra, fam, it's debate night.
I don't think anybody is that excited, Pasta. I think people are more excited to see what kind of drinking game they're going to play. And I'm going to tell you guys, there is this drinking game that the Convo Couch thought of. If we were drinking, which we're not.
We're not drinking.
But if we were, and if you are, and if you're not driving, and if you're going to be responsible while you're drinking, then you should drink every time Joe says,
I'm the guy that wrote climate change legislation.
Every time he says, I'm the guy.
I'm the guy who talked about prison reform. No, I think you should do a double shot every time he says, I'm the guy.
Okay, but what about Trump?
I don't know. I was thinking every single time he says beautiful, beautiful. If every time he repeats a word. So we're going to have an enormous amount of people out there. It's going to be very, very huge. Anytime he repeats a word.
I wanted him to say every time he said like radical left Antifa, also take a shot because he's gonna use that today.
Do it like this: the radical left
and radical Antifa
and the terrorist group Antifa needs to be stopped.
Yeah, take a shot for every time.
Well, I mean, people have been freaking out, fam. Everybody's getting ready for this debate. There's a lot of anxiety about this debate. Before we get to the questions, let's talk a little bit what happened the last couple of days, because ever since Ruth Bader Ginsburg has passed away, the debate is coming up. The election's within 40 days. Right? I think it's around the corner right now. November can't come any quicker to get this thing done with. People have been freaking out.
Yeah,
including a guy that when I got involved in politics, the guy I wanted to eventually replace when he was ready to retire was Bill Maher. Fam, we are far from that now. Now it's Peter Lavelle, but back then in the days when I first met Bernie Sanders, it was on Bill Maher's show. I always thought when I first heard him, he did the Aardvark voice in the Pink Panther commercials. Hey, you little ant, you better get out of there. It was played by Jackie Mason, who was another Jewish man from Brooklyn, same area. But that's when I met Bernie Sanders and a lot of other people, and I love Bill Maher's show. I thought it was a combination of mixing in entertainment with politics, and it got me interested even more. But now, fam, he's gone to sheet.
Yeah, exactly. So Bill Maher, it's in the last folder from Monday.
Let me go. I'll pull it up, and I'll put it in the... I'll get it up for Johnny, but pretty much talk about what he was referring to.
So Bill Maher and there's people who are disgruntled with the duopoly, or the fake duopoly, I would say, and who want to vote Green Party or want to vote whatever, want to write someone's name in. And we heard all of this before in 2016. I mean, this is nothing new. In 2016, there was vote shaming regarding Jill Stein. They painted that woman like she was Putin's best friend, like she was awful, evil. A lot of the people also participating in that smear job against Jill Stein were progressives, people like Josh Fox and progressives.
Yeah, I wanted to mention Josh Fox because he went after. That was when I really lost it for Josh Fox. Also, what's our guy with the British guy who looks like a giant Harry Potter, did a story on it. Who's that guy? HBO.
Giant Harry Potter.
He's got the glasses and...
Oh! You're talking about
John
Oliver, the Scottish. He's Scottish.
He's Scottish.
I thought he was Scottish.
He looks like a giant Harry Potter.
Whatever. He looks like a...
He does look like a giant Harry Potter. He did a story on it. It was pretty disgusting. The way we look at third parties. And let me tell you something. Third parties are winning the political debate as far as the ideas, okay?
Right.
It might be a choice between a Democrat and a Republican. If you want to play that game, go right ahead. I'm not going to. The ideology war is being won by the third parties, okay? Right. Getting rid of the Secretary of State, our civil liberties, that's the Libertarian Party. A Green New Deal, Medicare for All, that's the Green Party, you know what I'm saying? They might not have the greatest candidates right now, they might not have the biggest push, but the ideas that are really surrounding, benefits for workers, taxing the shit out of the rich, these are third-party ideas.
And in California, states like California, the Democratic establishment is basically the Republican Party. So progressives only have the only way to push the Democratic Party is to have people like the Green Party and Peace and Freedom Party and all these other parties, even the Libertarian Party, put out ideas that they can get votes from them, because California is a safe blue state, so a lot of people vote third party, a lot more people than say in a swing state. So they kind of keeps them on their toes, and we've had other green candidates and come to this show and tell us, like, yeah, the Democratic Party has long been scared of the Green Party here because they have won seats before in city council as mayor, etc. It is absolutely possible. So my whole thing with Bill Maher is that the foul thing he said, he called it a rape baby. I hope you enjoy carrying your rape baby to term, and you can name it Jill Stein. And we're going to watch this little video, but the fact that he says that even now in 2020, when Jill Stein isn't even in the picture, when it's Joe Biden, a worse candidate than Hillary Clinton, which nobody thought was possible, and you're still on that same tactic of shaming people. What happened last time, Bill? What the fuck happened? Did people all of a sudden go and change their mind because you were vote shaming them so much? No, people just stayed home and they didn't vote down ballots. So if you care about down ballot progressives, a lot of the people in Wisconsin, they're not even going to vote anymore because you pushed them away. You said you can't have the ability, the chance to vote your conscience. We're going to make sure and force your hand to vote. Not to mention the fact that Gary Johnson got way more votes than Jill Stein, and those libertarian votes would have gone to Donald Trump anyway. Yeah. So these people are so illogical. They're so stupid. They act like these votes belong to them, and they don't.
Yeah, they don't. And I think Bill Maher has just been disconnected from the real world for a long time. The definition of privilege, when you don't have to financially worry about any of your bills, it's really hard for you to relate to some of those people that are on the streets, those people who have really been affected by the Obama Biden policies. Not to say that Donald Trump is any better or has come up with policy to get people off the street. No. Well, I mean, you can say he's better than Biden. I mean, I'm not going to argue that.
I don't know about that.
Well, no, I'm not going to argue it. You know what I'm saying? Well, if that's the way you feel, that's the way you feel. I'm not going to defend Joe Biden and the left ever again. That died with Hillary Clinton. That was the last time I will ever defend a neoliberal and go against my values.
Is what I'm going to say.
The vote shaming was the worst. You know what I'm saying? But what Bill Maher said was pretty disgusting. He's been disconnected for a long time, and those policies, they never affected him. So, you know, whether Donald Trump is in office or Joe Biden, it really is not going to affect Bill Maher's life one way or the other. He's still going to do what he's going to do. You know what? Johnny's setting up some stuff, so what I can do is I can play it here, and we can hear the volume from the microphone. I don't know. I'm not going to argue. That's us in a pseudo world. Let me get it real quick. There we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on the top of the page, but we can play it here.
No.
You got it?
Yeah, that's...
Yeah. No, that's my tweet. That's something on the Monday page. You're pulling it up. Here comes Bill Maher coming up in a couple seconds. That Monday page.
But this vote shaming.
Yeah, this is the same behavior as 2016.
It's nothing new. It's just, but you've been on Facebook and we've been on Facebook, and people have just been nonstop about, like, oh my God, we have to vote for Joe Biden. Bernie's doing it. AOC's doing it. We have to follow in the footsteps. Blah, 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 blah. It's like, stop being this sort of like, you think you're so superior and you think you're such a much better person by voting for Joe Biden, and you're not. It's actually a lot stronger to vote third party and tell the duopoly that you're not going to continue this game any longer. Joe Biden absolutely gave people nothing. The Democratic Party spit in their face and said, you know what, we're not going to give you shit, and you're still going to vote for us. And the fact that you're still going to do that, that is what keeps them going. Until we destroy the Democratic Party, we're not going to be able to fully fight fascism. And this is what I keep saying, because they are a hologram that's in the way, that's there to take your energy away, that's there to stop progressives. So you can't even really fight Republicans because they're not fighting Republicans. Yeah. They are enabling them. So really, it's all one big theatrical display. And in the end, we waste our resources trying to either be friends with the Democratic Party or fight with the Democratic Party, and then you know, we fight them in the primaries and we join them in the general. It's like, what's the point of that? You're never going to get anything out of it. I'm so sick and tired of this bullshit. And the point that I made in the last video I did, fam, was that these people that are out there saying that they want to vote for Joe Biden to help the immigrant community, to help Black lives, a lot of these people I've never seen at a freaking protest. Yeah. This is happening right outside your neighborhoods, outside of Orange County, LA County, wherever you are. These protests are ongoing. In Orange County, a man was shot by police there too. I've only seen Jackson Hinkle talk about it. Nobody else is talking about these things. They're too busy saying we need to have phone banks for Joe Biden. We need to vote for Joe Biden. I care about my immigrant brothers and sisters. Pasta's white privilege because he's not going to vote for Joe Biden. We're in freaking California, number one. Number two, Pasta has gone to several protests and has seen how the treatment of these protesters has been, and has also seen how the sheriff is now going after journalists. I mean, they went after Tina-Desiree Berg just for her filming them going after this activist named Andy with a shield, like bashing him with a shield. The guy was in a wheelchair for a few days. This isn't a joke. So I want all those people who are sitting on Facebook vote shaming us to go out there and go to these protests, and then maybe they'll start realizing, hey, if this is happening to journalists here, if this is happening to protesters where they're getting charged with felonies for protesting, maybe Julian Assange's case is kind of important, considering he's facing 175 years in prison. He's not even American. We are demanding an extradition. This whole kangaroo circus is going on, this kangaroo court, where the prosecution is terrible, but it doesn't matter because they have the judge in their pocket. And as good as the defense has been, as all the great witnesses like Daniel Ellsberg that they've brought, it doesn't matter because they have the judge in the pocket. And the United States is a bully that says, if you don't let us have our way with this, we're gonna bully you into submission. And that's what we do. And if they extradite Julian Assange, we're all fucked. Every single one of us, everybody that's a journalist, everybody that's a citizen journalist, everybody that is on a sort of media of a truth-speaking platform. And if they can do that to him and show him as an example, make an example out of him, they're going to do that to every single one of us.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. Not enough people on the left care.
Well, they don't. People on the left, they've taken the pill and they've swallowed it that Julian Assange was working for Russia. Let's not forget that the Democratic Party was so exposed by WikiLeaks that they've planted so many negative seeds about Julian Assange that's being just echoed from from everybody from the left, from the establishment people to some of the those neo-progressives that we say. Let's take a look at Bill Maher's video right here, and then we can get to breaking down the debate before it gets rolling.
The Supreme Court hears oral arguments to overturn Obamacare on November 10th. Once this new justice is seated, Obamacare is likely gone. And after that, Roe versus Wade. So I hope you enjoy carrying your rape baby to term. You can name it Jill Stein.
And the cheering from the crowd. I know they get paid to cheer, but...
Well, I went to that crowd before. They load that. It's just a bunch of latte liberals, a bunch of privileged people, that are sitting there. That's who Bill Maher's crowd is now.
Yeah.
The people who don't give a shit about the austerity measures that are pushed upon the poor people, because it's not really going to affect them. They care about the rhetoric and the way it sounds. And oh my God, Trump, the way he said those things. I mean, about those poor Mexican people, and then you're not doing anything to really help them and fight for those Mexican people who are being oppressed. So shut the hell up.
They're not.
They're not doing a goddamn thing, and you're surely not doing anything by voting for Joe Biden.
When we went to Denver, the immigration reform people, the Black Lives Matter people, the Party of Socialism and Liberation people, they all are starting to build coalitions. That is what's happening right now. That's where our power is. Our power isn't in the voting booth right now because our elections aren't even fair. Both of these fuckers cheat. They've been cheating for the longest time. So that's another thing we're going to discuss. We could discuss later on. I don't know, the Project Veritas thing, where it is the third party. The third party issue is kind of connected to that, because this is how the Democrats rig elections. Like, it's not voter fraud. This isn't voters going and rigging elections. No, that's how the Republican Party wants to twist it. This is the Democratic Party using ballot harvesting to manipulate elections. And this ballot harvesting is really one small aspect of it. I mean, we can talk about the machines. We can talk about the fact that it's proprietary software. We don't have open source elections.
Yeah, it's like a black box. We can't even monitor our own elections. We can't even look at it.
So while I don't trust Project Veritas, just because their Project Veritas doesn't mean what the one thing they say is true isn't true. Yeah. We have to stop this hyper-partisanship of, oh my God, because they said something, but so no, you have to look at the data. We have been covering this before Project Veritas even brought any of this up. Yeah. So we know it's true. That doesn't mean I support Project Veritas. It just simply means I can acknowledge that this is true. What they said is true. And I think focusing on Tulsi Gabbard being a Republican because she supports, it's like, no, I think she's just somebody that thinks in a very like nuanced, logical way, and sometimes I agree with her, and sometimes I don't. And I agree with her.
The whole thing with Project Veritas, they're just like any other news outlet. Sometimes they get some right, sometimes they get something
wrong. And they do
wrong.
twist the left narrative to being like these Antifa, blah blah blah. They do that. That's why I don't necessarily trust it. But on this, I can verify that information to be true because we've been covering
stuff on the Epstein case they dropped was good. Stuff on the Google case they dropped was good. Some of the CNN Russiagate stuff. Yeah, I mean, they have 3 or 4 outlets, and let's be honest, a lot of people. We asked Zach Voorhees, who was on this show, he was the Google data dumper, and we did all the research to make sure he worked at YouTube for a long time and whatnot. He did, and we said, why'd you bring it to Project Veritas? Why didn't you bring it to WikiLeaks? Because I don't know if you know this, Pasta, but everybody at WikiLeaks is either dead or in prison. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that they're shutting down outlets that would take stuff, and put it up there. I mean, there's a lot of outlets that don't even want to do that nowadays, fam, because they're seeing Julian Assange getting, tortured.
Well, we just need more data dumps.
Publishing.
We just need more sites with data dumps where we can, safely do that. But that takes some sort of.
Well, I didn't know if he had a dead man switch, Julian Assange. I wish he did of some sort, or he kept one, but maybe, who knows?
And we'll get to these election questions in a minute. I just want to mention Assange. If you want to attack Trump, attack him on the fact that he could pardon Julian Assange. Like he could. He said WikiLeaks, that's what he campaigned on, and he's not. Yeah. And so he's the one that's going after Julian Assange. This doesn't rid Obama of the guilt of him just leaving it there for the next president to take over without offering any protections. But Trump, this is happening under the Trump administration. So
he said, WikiLeaks. I love WikiLeaks.
Yep.
Remember that shit?
Yep.
Yeah, and he just couldn't forget about it. Where you at, Donald?
Yeah.
Help us out. I did put up a tweet, Johnny. Do we have that tweet available now, or? Yeah, it's a tweet about tonight because it's about to end, but it's a very simple tweet. I ask, it's my own goddamn profile. I put up a little, here we are. What topic are you most interested in for tonight's debate? Tell me and why. The pandemic, the economy, race and violence in cities, integrity of the election. The only one that we didn't get up here are the 5 that were listed, and right now integrity of the election is up there. It's really nice. I like that. Was the fact they're going to talk about their records. So that's the first one. They're going to open up. There's no introductions. Donald Trump gets the first question. They're going to talk about their records. So go over there, make a vote on that, and we'll see what's going on. So, fam. First question for you. Do you think this debate will have any effect on the way people vote? Or do you think it's just like people, they have your Trumpers, you have your Biden people, it's already set in stone. This is just theater before the election.
I mean, it may have minimal effect. I think it's mostly theater. I think debates in general are mostly theater because of the way they're conducted. They're conducted in a sense to get like little snippets of something and repeat that over and over again, just like certain like the money shots, so to speak. But when it comes to these words, these buzzwords that people get, I think people who are going to vote for Trump have already made up their mind. There might be some progressives or independents or libertarians who will either go one way or the other because of the way the parties have behaved. So because somebody might be more fearful of, let's say, the Supreme Court, even though that's a lot of fear mongering because we've had a conservative Supreme Court forever, they might look at what's happening and be like, you know what, we need to vote for Biden just to save the Supreme Court and blah, blah, blah. But then there's the other people that have been disenfranchised by the Democratic Party, like the Green Party, and the Libertarians who are sick and tired of it and who just want to see the Democratic Party crash and burn. I know several people who are going to vote for Donald Trump just not because they like Donald Trump, but because they want to see the Democratic Party crash and burn. And I think that number's been growing and growing because of the behavior of the Democratic Party.
The constant behavior, the doubling down on bullshit. You can't, a day can't go by that the Democrats and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris do something stupid. Something comes out of their mouth that's dumb. Not just their, his slow, sleepy Joe behavior, but I'm just talking his policy-driven mindset is just awful on every single step of the way. And by the way, Joe Biden says, Steve Wilbrand says Joe Biden sucks. Thank you for the super
Joe
chat
Biden gave us a super chat?
Let me say something about this debate right now, fam. This is going to have an effect, okay? First of all, there's a question down at the end, which I'll get to at the end. But we live in a WWE mindset. A lot of the voters and a lot of the people out there, you guys and ladies and gentlemen who watch our show, you're different than most people. You're politically engaged. Most people are not politically engaged. And just recently is that time of year, every 4 years, when the people who don't know about politics come out of their little hole to start talking about how you got to vote for Joe Biden against Donald Trump and whatnot, and then you ask them policy reasons why they don't have anything. Right. Then you ask for reasons why, and they say Mitch McConnell, Russia, and it's like, okay, you're giving me an answer like you're a 14-year-old child that watched CNN for the weekend, and now you're giving me all your answers. I mean, it's like, that's where it's at. So I think people are not as politically engaged, but they're going to be watching this tonight, and I think this is going to have a big effect on what's going on. So then my next question to you is, being that Joe Biden sucks, says Steve Wilbrand.
I mean, he does.
What does Joe Biden have to do tonight to come out of this debate on a positive note? Besides staying awake, fam, and not stuttering, and telling people to vote for the other Joe Biden or the other Biden, what does he have to do tonight to come out of this on a positive note?
I don't think I think it's going to be difficult for Joe Biden to come out in a positive note because he is such a weak candidate that doesn't motivate or excite anybody. And the only thing that he could do would be attack Donald Trump on policy from the left, which that would mean he would go against everything he's been doing this whole time while campaigning. Basically, he would have to become Bernie Sanders, maybe, to have any sort of chance or to appease that part of the left. Other than that, I don't see how he could do. I mean, other than not stutter, not repeat his words, not think he was back in 1987. Other than that, I don't really see. I think Donald Trump is going to have the upper hand because he lives for moments like these. This is what he does.
Let me say this much, fam. I remember the Romney-Obama debate, the first one. Joe Biden's got to do what he does best: lie. Literally, I mean, after that debate, I went to a rally after that debate, and Obama lost the first debate against Romney. He won the second and the third, technically, when he went after him and stuff. But he coined this whole phrase, Romnesia, because Romney was pretty much not standing by his own policies and whatnot and going against it. And it really caught Obama off guard, and the lying stuck. You know what I'm saying? He came out of that debate looking pretty decent. And really, to tell you the truth, I thought Obama was going to wipe the floor with him, but really, that's what I think Joe needs to do. Joe needs to pander towards that progressive side that he doesn't stick up for anyways, somewhat in this debate to catch Donald Trump off guard. I mean, aside from not passing out or wetting his pants or anything like that, or like we said, just being coherent, he's got to find a way to get at Donald Trump and whatnot, you know what I'm saying, and just stay the course. Stay the course, stick to your script. You know the areas you want to attack up Donald Trump on: the pandemic, right? You got the pandemic. The economy comes up to play. Now, the whole thing about it when it comes to all these other subjects, he's very vulnerable because of his past policies, and Donald Trump can come right back after him. But, the economy, attack him on the economy, how everybody doesn't have money, whatnot, you know what I'm saying? I mean, Joe Biden, Donald Trump is going to try to twist it, but I think the best avenue for Joe to win tonight is to try to use the pandemic. All the Democrats are saying that on all the mainstream media shows, if you can watch them for more than 5 minutes, but the pandemic is his best place.
The pandemic, but Democrats haven't done anything regarding the pandemic, so that's where he's going to fall short. Regarding, the CARES Act, what did that do? Regarding the fact that they're going on break again. I mean, it's really difficult for Joe Biden, and to an extent, I feel bad because they're using him as this little puppet when they're not employing him, giving him the right things to succeed. Because this whole time, his whole campaign has been about being the better Republican. So you're not going to beat Donald Trump at being the better Republican. You're just not.
And that's the problem, though. They've been going after that moderate to right vote, that blue dog Republican, they call him, or that blue dog Democrat. Yeah. That, moderate Republican, the one that Chuck Schumer said we'll get one in Ohio and Wisconsin.
Well, they've left the working class.
Also, I need a Knish tonight,
The Democrats have rejected the white working class in America. That's the white working class that was heavily Democrat. The farmers, the people who worked in factories, all those people that were heavily Democrat have shifted and moved to the Republican
Joe's going to try to go back and get those votes. I think it's a terrible plan. He had it right over here. You know,
Well,
you
he
had it with
can't.
the
They're
progressives, but it's too late.
elitist. The Democrats to the Republican Party represent the intellectual, elitist, overeducated working class or upper classes. That's what the Democratic Party represents, and these working class white Americans feel abandoned. This is why there's so much hatred and vitriol towards Black Americans and towards immigrants. It all feeds off of each other, and that's what they've created. They've created this whole system where you have the white working class over here. Instead of going after the issues that affect the white working class, the Democratic Party has basically mocked them and made them all ought to be Nazis and all these, just vilified every single person. And so they're not going to get them back. Not like this.
Well, I mean, I hate to say, the Democratic Party hasn't done anything for workers, period, across the board, any worker, since Jimmy Carter left office. So, I mean, they've abandoned workers, period. And it's going to be really hard to get them back and actually say that I'm the guy, when you were the guy who was going around and pushing for, a lot of these trade deals that went across overseas and really, hurt the economy and hurt that white working class in the Rust Belt. Yep. And that's all they're trying to do on MSNBC and CNN right now is say that, he's winning in Wisconsin and Pennsylvania and Michigan, and they're trying to save the polls. But it's like Johnny, like they said, remember, Biden's in the thing. He's putting his head out. He's in the basement, and they're like, hey, Trump's getting big rallies out there, but don't worry, it says that you're ahead in the polls.
Just like Hillary Clinton was.
Just like Hillary Clinton was. I mean, it's just, it's ridiculous. Here's my next question for you. This morning, fam, I don't know if you know, Biden and Harris released their 2019 tax returns.
Ooh.
Is Joe Biden's best weapon Trump's taxes right now, aside from maybe going after them for the pandemic? I mean, I don't think that this was the bombshell, the case cracker that the Democrats had hoped for. But is this his best weapon right now? The fact that he paid $750 in taxes? I think I paid more than taxes in those.
I think we all paid more in taxes than Donald Trump, and that is enraging, right? But so is the fact that many billionaires, like Donald Trump, and these corporations and these owners pay $0 in taxes too. It's not like this just started with Donald Trump, Democrats. You guys enable these corporatists and these corporations and these billionaires making money. You enable them to do this, and yet you're going to turn around and just say cherry pick Donald Trump. You look like, once again, the Hippocratic Party. Like you guys look like complete idiots, and this is the problem. Sure, it's awful, it's wrong. He should have paid far more in taxes. Yes, I agree. And what about all these other billionaires that you guys are responding to, these lobbyists in healthcare and oil and fracking? Like, what about these billionaires? So we're just going to only go after Trump? It just looks, the right can literally take that and say, look at the Democrats who support Jeff Bezos and George Soros and all of this. This is just how it's going to go.
You know what they're going to say to a lot of those Republicans on the right? I don't know about you, fam, but I think it's smart that you don't give the money for all those things. They ain't using that money for a wall.
And they're not using this money for anything. I mean, we pay so much in taxes here in California, and look at our roads. Yeah. Look, what I mean, we use it to bomb people, Pasta. That's it. We use it to fucking bomb people.
I don't think this was the revelation they hoped it would be.
No, it's not.
In fact, they even did something wrong. They were selling pins that says, I paid more in taxes than Trump. You shouldn't be selling those. You should have made 10 million of them and just sent them out for free everywhere.
I pay more in taxes than billionaires.
Yeah.
I pay more in taxes than billionaires, than every single billionaire. We obviously have a problem here regarding the capitalist system that obviously isn't working for the working people, but they won't discuss that because they stand to profit off this system. They don't want to change the system. They just want to point fingers and blame somebody else while they can each continue perpetuating the system.
You know, I remember that debate between Hillary and Donald Trump at the get-go with, and a lot of people thought that Hillary is not going to be used to this. This is Donald Trump that's coming out here, and he's going to be a wild man, and he's going to come right after her. But he really didn't do that. He stayed in his own lane. He talked his talk, and then he just took shots when they were provided. Mm-hmm. Boom, boom. One of the biggest shots against Hillary Clinton is like, well, it's a good thing that Donald Trump is not the president of the United States. He goes, yeah, because you'd be in jail. And the crowd was like, oh, it was like one of those things. But he really stayed in his lane. Do you think he's going to do the same thing tonight? Because a lot of people think that Joe Biden, he's going to try to go out there and get under Joe Biden's skin. I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's going to stay calm, stay in his lane, talk about his successful economic policies pre-COVID, which, are a ruse anyways, but the Democrats can't do anything right there too as well. It's good for people who have money in the stock market and whatnot. Right. For the lower half, it didn't do shit. But once again, it still sticks, and a lot of people, it's the economy, stupid. So, fam, what do you think? He's going to really go after Joe and try to knock him off, or is he going to stay in his lane and just take shots from a distance?
I mean, I think it's going to be a mixture. I think he's definitely going to try to use the economy and blah, blah, blah. And I think Joe Biden's just going to get exasperated and angry on his own. Yeah. I think that's what's going to happen. And I think Donald Trump has the upper hand, not because I like him better, but just because of what I'm seeing here. They definitely have the upper hand. The Joe Biden thing is going to be the Trump's COVID response and the millions of people sick and blah, blah, blah. And that's going to be their end. But I think the Republican Party and Donald Trump's campaign are basically going to have the upper hand in the sense of not looking like hypocrites, of just being upfront about what they think, because they are upfront about what they think. I disagree with everything that they stand for, but they straight up tell you, whereas the Democratic Party is trying to play both sides, and they're failing miserably at it. Yeah. So
I think Glory Jones left some love over there, Johnny. It's hard for me to read, but thank you, Glory Jones. You're awesome. Let's see if we get it. What's that up there? There she is. Thank you, Gloria Jones. Thank you. Free Julian Assange. This issue, I can't read it.
This issue is connected to everything. Anyone who tries to say otherwise is full of gaslighting shite.
Shite.
And she also said...
No cap, Glory. No cap.
She also said, let's see. Just want to say, I told y'all almost a year ago the Heat was going to win the East.
Oh,
Gloria,
stop.
I'm so happy the Heat won, okay? I'm very, very happy.
Let's see. The two teams I like the least are playing in the finals. Great. What happened, Kawhi? Goddamn, George couldn't help him out. Well, thank you, Glory Jones. You are awesome. No cap. You are the best.
Oh, Glory, see?
What you talking about?
Pasta speaking Zoomer lingo is like...
All right. Back to the subject at hand. Is
no
Trump's
cap.
best weapon tonight against Joe the Burisma case that just resurfaced again the other day with Hunter and stuff? Or does he have other areas where, I mean, obviously, he can attack him from the left for crying out loud. But do you think that his best weapon is still this Burisma case? I mean, I still think a lot of independents are going to see this and be like, holy shit, this is no bueno. It's not technically against the law because he put everything in his son's name. But then how do you attack Donald Trump and say his sons are, sucking off the teat when Joe Biden's son, Hunter, was carpetbagging where thousands of people died on the Maidan while we were supporting a racist regime in eastern Ukraine?
I think for people who know about foreign policy and imperialism, but the vast majority of Americans, I don't think Burisma is going to do anything. To be honest, I think they're gonna try to use it, and I think they should.
Clip over and over and over again.
But people aren't concerned with that right now. They're concerned with the here and now.
But that makes him look even more fraudulent than Donald Trump sometimes. You know what I'm saying? We start talking about Donald Trump's rhetoric as some of the worst, but
it just makes them look like hypocrites. But I mean, I think people are more concerned with the pandemic, the economy, and all these things happening.
Johnny, put the cartoon up. We got to put it up over there. He had the cartoon. Joe, where you at, Joe? Sure, Trump's rallies are huge, but you're ahead in the polls, just like Hillary was. That's my nerdy glass guy sound. How's that?
Is the door open, Johnny? Okay.
Okay.
We'll just open it.
Let's just talk about the topics for tonight, okay? Yeah. We have 5 topics for tonight that are listed at Christopher Wallace, who is the moderator. It's a Fox debate, ladies and gentlemen, so don't expect... So, underneath the poll, people were putting, why aren't they talking about fracking and, climate change? Because both of them don't care about fracking and climate change. They're businessmen. You're really going to count on Joe Biden? Like you think Joe Biden
I'm not getting rid of fracking.
I'm not getting rid of fracking.
That's Donald Trump.
Well,
what?
You're telling progressives to go vote for people who are green. Like, okay, Joe.
The other Biden.
I mean, and that it's so bad because that is the one frigging area that you really have trumped by the cojones, and you gave it up from the get-go. The immediate, as soon as you started your campaign, you took fracking money out of the gate. You screwed up the one area I think that you just owned. Because I knew when Donald Trump, when he was elected, was not going to be good for the economy, not going to be for the environment, fam. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, and he could have also, instead of calling the protesters all violent looters, he could have also said, you know what, I'm going to consider working with states to enact measures to defund the police, or at the very least, he could have said anything like that that would have gotten him a lot of that vote.
He didn't even have to say defund the
vote.
police. He could have said, I to make reforms for the police department. You could have met him halfway if you were so concerned about those people who don't want to defund the police. But the fact that he played the same position as Donald Trump, when they're sitting there, they're trying to have it both ways. We believe in protest, but we don't believe in violence, whatnot, and stuff. It's like, pick a side, lady, or, you know what I'm saying?
The way they said it, too, it was just
really bad.
Nancy and him, it was awful.
Donald Trump already owns that position, and that's going to be interesting because the five topics for tonight are, number one, they're going to open up opening statements. They're going to open up the first question, and the first topic is supposed to be, well, the five topics they told us, the candidates' records, which I find that very cute. Because how they're going to each frame each other's records, they're going to go after each other. It's going to be weird. The pandemic. So once again, there you are on the left. You said that you have to put it to Donald Trump and make it about the pandemic. It's there for you. The economy. Talking about the economy, which is really up in the air right now. Who the hell knows what's going to happen, fam? I'm still like, what's going to happen in the next couple months? Race and violence in the cities. CNN and a couple other people, there's a couple articles were written, is the way they kind of put this in here is really, really, really effed up to make it about this race and violence in the cities.
Yeah, we all know how that's going to.
But once again, this is a subject right here that really Joe Biden can step in shit and make himself look bad. If he makes himself look like Donald Trump, if he's going to be the law and order president, which he already is with the crime bill and stuff, but you can't do that. You're going to try to do that against Donald Trump, you're not going to win in the integrity of the election. Obviously, I think that, and it says which one of these topics is the most dangerous for Joe. I think it is D, fam, when it comes to race and violence in the cities, because right now, the people who are in these streets are the younger people, are the progressives, are, you know what I'm saying? They're the ones who want that change. Those are the ones who are looking for help. You know what I'm saying? You can argue out there if you think, oh, you don't like the direction they're going, you don't want to defund the police and stuff like that. I'm looking for a leader to come out and say, I acknowledge your pain, I acknowledge your anguish, and this is what we need to do. But that hasn't happened from Joe Biden. That hasn't definitely happened from Donald Trump. And in fact, he's, gone against them heavily when it comes to the protesters. So he's got to watch out for this particular situation, fam, because if he falls down the Nazi hole, stormtroopers, I am going to be the, you know what I'm saying? I mean, he wrote the crime bill, but he can really be in some serious shit. Do you agree? Is there any other
No, I mean, I think that's it. I mean, I think if he doesn't show opposition to what Trump is doing, it's done. I mean, it's done. I mean, I think it's done anyway, but because his whole campaign has pretty much been a replica of Trump's, just more polite. So, yeah.
He also has to be careful, Joe Biden, of the candidate records, because Donald Trump can attack him from the left when it comes to foreign policy. I doubt Joe will say, well, you've been bombing people at a much higher rate than when we left office. What's Trump's going to say? Yeah, well, you started these wars. You know what I'm saying? He's going to twist it any way he can and stuff, and he can attack him from the left. Joe wanted to go to Iraq. He's going to do the whole 9 yards, because since he's been in there and stuff, and, then floating the idea of getting out of Afghanistan and getting out of Iraq. He floated that idea out there, fam, and he's going to use that tonight, especially against Joe Biden. The pandemic can really, really, really hurt him. And the
economy, too, to a degree.
Well, that was my next question to you. Can the economy hurt him?
I think so.
Because it was pre-COVID. All the economy was like it was booming. The stock market was going high. People really believe
like a progressive would attack him and say, things weren't great. The stock market was great for rich people, but everything else has been crap for a really long time. And blah 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 blah.
Yes,
but nobody's going to do
policies, Joe, and all the awful trade deals. He wanted to push the TPP. I said no. He wanted to push it.
Yeah.
He's going to do that shit.
Yep.
He's got all, you know what I'm saying? I think the pandemic is a tough one.
I think the pandemic is definitely the toughest one for him.
The integrity of the election right now, too. Here's listen, for election integrity activists today, it's going to be no secret that Joe Biden is going to screw this one up right now for election integrity. Because right now, they're on a mission right now to hoodwink people to think that our elections are solid, to hoodwink people to think that mail-in ballots are legit and they don't have any problems. Or any problems for fraud. Well, they've never had any problems for fraud before. Yeah, we've never done audits. We don't even have the proper audits. We don't have the right transparency mechanism. And no doubt about it, you talk about that Project Veritas thing, you talk about it. That's a common thing. Where are these ballots coming from? You have contracts. It's not like the county prints them out. The county gets contracts. And they're mass contracts, like the same people who own the tabulation machines, different companies. It's the same people throughout the country who have these contracts. Now, if you have a friendly contractor, fam, we've had an election integrity activist on named Rebecca Mercury, Dr. Rebecca Mercury. She told us, he says it's ridiculous. Monopoly money's got better security than these ballots over here and stuff like that. It is ripe for fraud. Jimmy Carter even said it. This area right now, and I think he's going to step in shit, but I don't think most people are going to catch it because I think most people don't know about it.
Yeah, most people don't know about all that. 100%. It's going to go over their head. But for us, we're gonna see a lot of nuance among the election integrity activists because a lot of them are on the neoliberal side. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
I do think that Donald Trump can seize that issue. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you can really take that issue and seize on it. What about Joe Biden? Other than going after, what issue can he get right here and all this right here and seize an opportunity to move forward in a positive way? I mean, I'm looking at this right now. Other than the pandemic, which is, once again, much like Joe Biden's campaign, nothing good I'm doing. That's a bunch of malarkey. Everything bad that Trump is doing.
Exactly.
So that's the pandemic. But out of all the other topics, fam, where else can he find some daylight?
They're going to focus on Trump's record. They're going to focus on Trump's record and how bad it's been for the economy and the pandemic. Yeah.
How many times do you think the SCOTUS nomination will be? Tonight's page?
Oh my God, so many times.
You think that Biden's going to?
Oh, that's what they've been doing this whole time. Focus on the SCOTUS nomination, and that's what they've used to get progressives to literally vote for Joe Biden. It's do you really want conservative judges, blah, 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 sitting over the Supreme Court? Instead of actually giving solutions to term limits and other situations like that, this is what they focus on. Like, it's just so enraging. I don't really see a way that Biden's going to win this debate.
Yeah. I don't see it either, but once again, we'll check it out. They might hit him up with some good Adderall. Yeah. That's been the talk. Who wants to take a drug test? Joe Biden. Trump has already get it, and Joe Biden said we should take. Yeah. I think that he falls flat on his ass. They don't let him debate again. Nancy Pelosi says, why should we debate Donald Trump? He's a liar. Cruise Cliff Park. Hail Convo Couch.
Hail Convo Couch. That's David Crow of the Bernie band. Survivor of the feds.
All right, let's get this going, ladies and gentlemen. You're on the YouTube now. You got to get over to the Rokfin, Rokfin.
It's free to sign up if you haven't already.
Exactly. And then if you do have a few bucks to endorse us for $9.99 a month, you get content from all the channels. Advertisement free across the board, so that would be great.
It is a very socialist co-op kind of concept for those of you who are lefties. It's better than YouTube, owned by Google.
Yes, and the picture right now is clean on it. It's great. So go on over there. We're gonna have our signs. We have them over here. Don't expect to see this, the thumbs up, thumbs down. You'll probably see more of the no and the thumbs down tonight. We'll do the debate in full volume so we don't interrupt. So if you're on the YouTube, get on over to the Rokfin, Rokfin. Join up for free. It really helps us out. Want to send a special thanks to our Patreons out there, 123 of you. You guys have really been helping and lift this up.
Yeah.
We went to Denver the other day, covered that beautiful march out over there, the Elijah McClain, the drop all charges from the people from the PSL, which is the Party of Socialism and Liberation. A lot of people a few members were actually detained and charged with kidnapping because they were doing a protest outside the precinct and the cops felt threatened.
And let me tell you, the way they described their detention was horrible. The two girls that were detained,
they're trying to intimidate them.
Criminals. They treat you like criminals. Even when Johnny and I got detained, it's like they think that they treat you like you did something wrong, like you freaking robbed a bank or like something, even though you didn't do anything. And it's really, those are the tactics these people are using. And that's why I always highlight what's going on with Julian Assange, because if that happens, then there's going to be an opening for that to happen to us. We could be covering a protest, and I'm surprised. Not that it should matter, but they're being attacked and they're being shot at and they're being targeted. And it's like, well, if this is happening right now in our streets and that's happening over there, eventually these two are going to connect, because like we always talk about here, our foreign policy is directed directly connected to our domestic policy, and our civil liberties directly connect to us being able to tell the truth and inform people on things. So we do get those things like Medicare for All, a Green New Deal, and all of these things, so people can know about it, so they cannot just swallow the mainstream media narrative that Bernie Sanders is a communist, because he's not. Far from it. That Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are communists because they're Republicans. Kamala is a top cop. She's self-described as a top cop. So it's these things that we have to stop thinking that it's all separate issues. All these issues are directly interrelated in one way or another.
You know, I mean, if we were going back 4 years from now and this is the first Trump-Hillary debate, we didn't have this. We didn't have the Convo Couch at that time, but I remember how upset and disgusted I was. I could not watch it.
Yeah,
I was sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
Right now, it's just like
it's almost like phased. It's a joke.
It's like a joke now.
Yeah,
it's like all right.
It's this 5 stages of grief, right? And like I think we added a stage here where you're just like joking, like that.
Yeah,
like it's just part of like if we don't like joke about it, what are we gonna do? We're just gonna sit and scream and be pissed off. I mean, everything that's happened since then in these 4 years has only gotten worse.
Yeah,
like it's only gotten worse.
And we don't have WikiLeaks to show us the
no
truth
WikiLeaks.
Anymore.
We have fucking Julian Assange in a kangaroo trial. He doesn't even get to talk to his lawyers. He is in a really, really, really terrible condition health-wise. I mean, this is just everywhere I look. It's a disaster. And then
our
we
elections
have
are
foreign
worse.
policy too.
Foreign policy elections are worse. I mean, there's a lot of shit going on.
Yeah.
Azerbaijan and Armenia is going into a serious conflict right now.
Yeah.
We're just standing by to see if anything happens. Turkey's already been pulled into it. Well, they pulled themselves into it.
Well, there's Taiwan and China.
There's Taiwan and China going on. Anything can erupt. We have, aerial activities, military activities above the Black Sea going crazy. Us and Russia, day after day. There's the Crimea situation. I mean, it just can get out of hand. It's nuts. By the way, we have the final results of the poll that I put up. What topic are you most interested for tonight's debate? Tell me and why, fam. Look what won.
Oh, the elections.
Integrity of the election edges is out.
Interesting.
The economy. Oh my God.
I think it's because you have, well, your particular Twitter followers, I think, are more on that end.
But I shared it on the Convo Couch, too.
Yeah.
I should have gone from the Convo Couch. I think probably if it was from the Convo Couch.
It might be the economy.
And I think race and violence in cities might have had more of a push if it was on your Twitter account.
Yeah.
So, obviously. We're known for certain things here, but I am happy the integrity of the election is up there. So, I mean, it's only 300 votes, but thank you guys. And I'm saying, hey, listen, they're showing polls and they're acting like they're crazy, and it's 700 people in these polls.
I know.
700 people.
I
polls, just did a freaking Twitter poll of 300 people, fam.
The polls that showed like Bernie Sanders losing, I remember all those polls. It's like they had like all landlines, like 200 people. Yeah, polls are polls, guys. All right, so we're going to get started in a few minutes, fam. Anything else you want to let the audience know before we...
Nope. If you haven't gone over to the Rokfin, I'm looking right now. Let me engage with the Rokfin audience. Johnny Milton, Holly Horn, Confused One, Mike Fagan, where you been? No offense, we love you. Fred Edwards, Adro Diablo says, let's go. Let's do it, Glory Jones.
In the comments, though, I want to know even if you didn't vote in that poll, what's the one thing that you would like to see? And granted, I just want to say this debate, a lot of people I know aren't watching because they just can't. They can't stomach it. They're like, fuck this. This is all a shit show. And it is. And it is. The only reason we're covering it is because we have to. This is what we do. So we're going to cover it for you guys. So you don't have to necessarily cover it. We're going to have a discussion after the show on YouTube too. So the only reason we can't stream on YouTube is because they shut us down. Otherwise we would stream it. So we're going to keep the YouTube thing on, but it's just going to say go to Rokfin, and then we'll be back after the debate to discuss what happened. We'll see what crazy crap happened. We'll have guests on. We're going to have for sure Ron Placone on to discuss a couple things.
Jimmy Dore is supposed to be on later on tonight. Ron Placone, Graham Elwood. We'll see which ones.
The whole indie fams.
Yeah, we'll see which indie fams we can get on there, and we'll give a little debate recap.
Yeah.
When we're done. So, yeah. Wow, man, is it hot.
I know. It's 100 degrees today.
Obama
outside.
Fake sip of Flint water. I remember that one.
Yeah. That one you can play over and over again, and there have been a lot of people of color who have been speaking out against Obama finally, and it's
That's what
taken
I'm
a
saying.
long time.
In that area, yeah.
Yeah.
That working class over there just ain't white working class. That's like, I asked somebody that question, how did Donald Trump get more African-American votes than both Romney and McCain?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people have been like, yo, I ain't playing this game no more. Obama did not help anybody out.
Yep.
He didn't help the poor working class whatsoever, including myself. So peace out. You know what I'm saying? That's why this whole Donald Trump phenomenon. It's like people are going to just move away from that establishment mentality of politics that have left so many people behind. Hello, Rocky Bellinger. We love you, baby.
Hey, Rocky. And just, God, I just don't. I'm not excited to watch this. And again, if you are drinking, remember to be safe. Don't go to the hospital. But I don't blame you for doing shots. This is the only way you can get through this debate. It's really, these debates aren't about you. They're not about the working people. They end up being about the two candidates one-upping each other. It's WWE. Like Pasta says, it really feels like it's just one big show. It's all Hollywood. It's just so fake, you guys. And it sucks that this is what our elections and our politics and our democracy has come to, but that's where we're at. And I think it's important for some of us to watch this and analyze it so we can actually get the truth, because these people aren't going to tell you the truth. They're just going to tell you what the narrative is on one side, what the narrative is on the other. I think they are going to have another debate, maybe if it's it would be like a CNN hosted debate.
Well, I'm kind of curious if they replace Joe after tonight when he goes home. Like that next person up, would that person debate? And would be Hillary,
Kamala?
Hillary and Trump again back in the ring? Oh, is that who is that? Is her name Teslin Figaro? No, or
I don't know. I'm not
that.
sure if I recognize. But all right. Well, we'll be starting shortly. Make sure to go to Rokfin, ROKFIN. And yeah, tune in. Oh, let us know what's in the comments. What's the most important thing for you? Like, let us know like if it's the economy, the pandemic, the elections, etc.
Manitalk says money out of politics would have been a decent poll. Yeah, it would have been, but they're not talking about that tonight, my man. They don't. Come on, remember this is Chris Wallace. This is a Fox News debate.
Well, and they both, Joe and Trump, take that money.
Yeah.
I mean, they're competing as to who has more money. Donald Trump definitely has more money.
All right.
As far as that goes, fam.
We going into the arena, John?
Joe Biden let go. Which ones must he respond to?
I think in the end of the day, he's
sticks to his message. Donald Trump has that overtone message of, hey, you know, I'm trying to end wars, but I have the best military that says, we rebuilt your broken military, and yet I want to end the wars that you started. So he sticks to his game. You know, he put all those numbers on, you know, and he also talked about the VA down the road, too, as well. I don't mean to skip ahead.
No, you're good.
But that was part of it. He said, you broke the VA, I came in and I fixed it. And he talked about a score being 91% for some who knows what type of whatever. But, yeah, I mean, we didn't see foreign policy on the list yet. It came up, and I thought that Donald Trump did what he was going to do when he had the opportunity. So
another thing Donald Trump did was he was talking about Bernie Sanders during the primary and how Joe Biden would have lost the primary. Particularly, he said, if Pocahontas would have left earlier, you wouldn't have won. And that's something that's entirely true. This is why many progressives hate Elizabeth Warren, because Elizabeth Warren, as we called it on this show months before, she was there to stop Bernie Sanders from getting anything. I mean, and that's what she did. If she had dropped out earlier and kind of bonded with Bernie Sanders and the whole, like a lot of his supporters wanted, everything would have been different. Bernie Sanders would have had a shot to beating Joe Biden more, but that didn't happen. And then we saw what happened after that. So Donald Trump attacking Joe Biden on his like hypocrisy and on his like, it's weird. Like he attacks him. He says, Bernie and you are the same. You're the radical left. And then he's like, what? You stopped Bernie Sanders and, you know, you did this just like Hillary Clinton did this. He's made numerous tweets about how many the Democratic Party screwed Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, well, he went after him. Oh, you lost the left there. Oh, you lost the left there. And even when he mentioned, I beat Bernie
he said
Sanders,
that.
He made him mention the thing that a lot of progressives are like, shut up, because we don't believe that you actually beat us. We don't believe it was legit. We know it wasn't legit in 2016. We have the ink from WikiLeaks. Thank you, Donald Trump, for not mentioning them. Jesus, Donald.
Nobody mentioned Julian Assange today. So.
You know, I'll wait until we get to that other part. But, I mean, the three times he said, you lost the left. You lost the left. And saying that stuff about Bernie Sanders, getting Joe Biden to repeat that shit again is just going to look bad for those people who are on the left that were thinking about voting for him. You know?
And Joe Biden also had the opportunity to go after Trump's failures on COVID. He started strong, but then he offered zero solutions, no mention of the economy, no mentioning of jobs. In essence, this is like the reason Americans are screwed, because while Donald Trump did a lot of mishaps regarding COVID and a lot of people died, etc., the Democratic Party and Joe Biden weren't helping in any way and weren't offering any solutions. So the people in the end lose anyway, no matter who believes in COVID and who doesn't.
Yeah. I mean, the first two questions, those were set up, I'm saying, and I was wrong. I said he would stay in his lane, not go after him. He was coming out like a WWE wrestler, and he was going after Biden from the get-go, and he wouldn't let up. You know what I'm saying? It makes Joe Biden look weak, makes Donald Trump look strong. That's going to play to his advantage, and Donald Trump knows that. That's why he acted like a jackass. But he did take his shots. And like I said, the first two questions, you're talking about SCOTUS. You're talking about the pandemic. This is a chance for Joe Biden to lay into Donald Trump. And like you said, it started pretty decent, but then it kind of fluttered away.
And another thing that Trump said on Joe Biden, which like had me cracking up because it's true, he said nobody shows up to his rallies.
That's the part, the events.
And to me, it's like, yeah, nobody shows up to Joe's rallies. I mean, he has a hard time getting over 100 people. Meanwhile, Donald Trump has all this momentum and all these people, no matter how much you dislike him.
Outside.
People are excited about him.
Outside,
exactly.
My rallies are outside.
Well, throwing the whole COVID thing out there, you know, like, oh, I wear a mask. I have it right here. Like, he's just playing with these people. He's playing, and they're falling right for his traps. That's what it felt like.
So I thought he didn't land the blows he needed to land. You know, he did keep it together pretty well. I thought I saw about maybe 3 or 4 stutters throughout the whole thing, so he really didn't completely fall on his face.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're gonna let another debate go out. I don't know if they can. I don't know. That's me. Personally.
I thought that Trump made a point about the Democratic supermajority states being shut down. That is something nobody talks about on the left, like the small businesses that are hurting, the employers that are hurting. He made a point saying, you know, they shouldn't be on lockdown. The truth is they shouldn't be still. California, because we live here, our state was a subject a lot, this debate, because we live in a supermajority state, yet we're suffering a lot economically, housing-wise. A lot of people are poor. Governor Newsom is doing shit. Mayor Garcetti is doing crap in LA itself. And we have like Dianne Feinstein and Harris as